We're live. We are live, people. Okay, awesome. You're going to hear a little bit of noise because it's an early stream tonight and the kids are upstairs banging around through the floor. How's everybody doing? This is going to be interesting and fun, and also a bit of a change of pace. So let's just see. Watching Trump right now. Why is Blue 923 taken? Yeah, I should probably time these streams a little better, but if this is totally unrelated to the world that's going on around us to some extent. To another extent, it's actually totally interconnected with it. Let's see if everybody sees that we are up here. We are alive and it's beautiful. I finally gotten rid of 3,400 kilograms of moose deer due to this corona thing. That's a lot. 3,400 kilograms? That's a lot of kilograms. Oh boy, what if Park teaches Viva how to cook those cow tongues and brains? Okay, so when Antonio, for those of you who don't know who Antonio is, I say he's a world-renowned chef because I think he is. He was born, well, I want him to introduce himself and tell his story, but the connection, I hear people coming downstairs and storming the stream. My connection to Antonio is that I am his lawyer and have been now going on 5 or 6 years. And the funny thing is, like, we had a solicitor-client relationship before we actually had a friendship, which is not typically how the solicitor-client relationship goes. But Antonio's become a close friend, and I'm still his lawyer because I'm a lawyer by trade. And whenever I have any cooking questions, I text him, even if I don't necessarily execute his advice as well as I should. Okay, let's see what we got here. Taylor K in the house says, "Sup, Viva? How's everything over there?" We're doing good. I'm going a little crazy. It's going to be 4 weeks, going into the 4th week on Friday. We've been 3.5 weeks now under quarantine, lockdown, homeschooling with the kids who are taking classes online. One of the kids is in kindergarten or pre-kindergarten, whatever, and doesn't have classes. His class consists of as many movies as we can think that he must stand in a day. We got Howdy from New Hampshire. You're doing a live stream around dinner time. Brave. The kids have eaten, Natalie. They are now, I hear them, I think they're going outside. But I'm not sure. I hear banging through the floor. Billy Barry says, solicitor-client relationship, is that the same as John and a prostitute? I'm going to have to look that joke up afterwards. Can you make a funny face for me? Can I make the funny face? Hold on. Anyone hear that noise through the floor? That's crazy. Hello, Mini Mort and everybody. What's up, 90 knots? Okay, so Bill Barry's in the house. Judith Scott is in the house. Hello, Judith. Mother Issues in the house. Hello. I said hello to you. So that's it. Now, I know I've known Antonio for 5 years. He's got this amazing restaurant called Park Restaurant, not far from where I live. I don't go all that often because we don't get out of the house all that often. But it's sushi to the next level. Like it's just glorious sushi. Like if I can pull up a picture and share it, I would. Google Montreal Park or Antonio Park Sushi and follow him on Instagram, by the way. His Instagram is just amazing. I mean, he doesn't need me to tell anybody to follow him. He's got like 115,000 followers on Instagram. It's just a thing of beauty. Okay. So that's it. And now he has recently started during this pandemic, delivery takeout sushi from the restaurant. I don't want to describe too much of it because I wanted him to explain what he's doing. And I think he's exquisitely busy, which is why he's running late now. But it's an incredible thing that he's doing. He's making meals for the firefighters, frontliners in the city. Just amazing. We got Bob Awusta says, "Hey Viva, stay safe and healthy, man. Glad to see your smiling face. Thank you very much. We're not always smiling, but we're trying. The sun is out, so it does make it a little easier to feel more optimistic. The days are getting longer, which is also good, in a way, because the days get longer, and that means the days get longer. Stuck with a teenager in quarantine. Help me." So it's a funny thing. Like, okay, let me just see if Antonio is getting in here. Let's see. I'm going to text him and tell him we're live. How are you doing? Question mark. It's an interesting thing. It's somewhat overwhelming. You have all the time in the world to think about whether this is the appropriate response, whether it's not enough, whether it's too much. You can get frustrated at the situation. We're tremendously fortunate in that we all are still getting along. There's jokes that there's going to be babies in 9.5 months, but there might also be divorces when the courts reopen. Who knows? Who knows? Spicy in the house. Hey, Viva, hope access to supplies isn't too bad. I left Canada before COVID became the hype. For info, I'm surprised I discovered you after Jacksepticeye's tour. Didn't know what I was in for. Love it. I made a video. Oh, I did 2 videos on Jacksepticeye, which were fun. And one of them actually made it to Jacksepticeye on the interwebs. It was great. Let's see here. So we got and you know what? While we're waiting for Antonio to come in, and I just hope nothing has come up that's not going to make him come in, let's just take some comments and talk to people and see how everybody's doing. Bob Wusta, don't they have a policy for quarantine parents away from teenagers? If not, poor planning. Let's see. Mother Issue says quarantines in 13 years. That'll be funny. Gunnar, do you plan on making a video about Yelp opening GoFundMes for restaurants and not telling the people that own the restaurant? Who gets the money if no one claims it? If their fees to get the money? If no one claims it, is there fees to get the money? I'm going to look into that. It's funny because I did a few videos on the GoFundMe scandal. Remember with the homeless person, what was it? Johnny Bobbitt. And I forget the other names, but I did a few vlogs on that because there were liability issues as to what happens when people open fraudulent GoFundMe campaigns and people get donations and then the money doesn't necessarily go to the cause. So, but first of all, let's start this. How is everybody else doing out there? What are some of the stories that people have that are interesting that they want to share of their time in quarantine? Adam Hyman says, my dad just sent me the best cookies in town. That is, we did a drop off at my parents' place because, we are telling them not to go out and not unnecessarily. And so I did a delivery and I think I saw my mother through the door when she opened the door and I got back into the car, but it is good to get the care packages when needed or even when not needed. Let's see. Spicy says, Spicy, I was at that tour, the Jacksepticeye tour, and saw the funny guy with the camera from afar. Heard the name, went to look up. Haha. I was doing on the street interviews after Jacksepticeye's show, and it was good. That was back in the day when I was doing the daily vlogging that was not vlogs. And the irony is that this turn of events has now actually sort of pushed me back into doing the more non-law stuff for my second channel, which is Viva Random, if anybody doesn't know about it. Because first of all, there's not that much happening in the law world out there now. And there's only so much subject matter that people can deal with on this particular subject. If anybody doesn't know, Nate Brody is another YouTube lawyer who's front lines in New York doing videos on the subject and on other stuff. But there's only so much that people can do on this that is value added to the situation. See what we got here. Better send directly to someone PayPal account. Yeah, Maggie Smith. If you want to support somebody, that's the way to do it. It's the GoFundMes. Unless they're for the individual, and then you have to verify that they're actually for the individual who's raising the account. There's just too much that can go wrong with it. I'm getting nervous now. It's been 8.5 minutes, and I have not yet heard from Antonio. Let me just text him here and make sure I'm winging it here, comma. We got 72 people watching and counting. Smiley face. Hope it is still good, comma. If not, comma, no worries. Exclamation point. Oh, okay. Incidentally, I have a vlog I'm going to publish after this live stream, which was the Donald Trump deposition from the 2016 lawsuit he took against Zakarian and who was the other restaurateur in that situation. Anyhow, I didn't realize there's a full 2 hours of deposition online in the context of that file that I never even knew existed, and I discovered it. It's amazing. Let's see. Mother Issue says, in quarantine, I'm starting a YouTube channel and interviewed Scott Pelser. Very cool. What is the name of your YouTube channel? Put it in the link and let people see it. Mother Issues. I'm actually going to do, on my second channel, I think I'm going to do like a few videos on just how to start things up and how to monetize, sort of like a more detailed discussion of what we had with Matthew Pretty on Sunday, because the digital world is a way to actually, survive and thrive even in circumstances like this. Spicy says, left Canada because my company forgot to renew my work permit, although I had reminded them for 2 months. Border agents didn't want to hear anything. Absolutely. And now here I am working in Ireland. Ireland's not a bad place to be working. Beautiful, beautiful country. Let's see here. We got Maggie Smith says, I'm having fun. Yankee Altman. Why not reverse make this channel the vlogs and the other channel Viva Law? I think there's the way it turned out is that I noticed whenever I made a law video, this channel or the videos on those subjects got a lot of views, and it just seemed like the natural progression that a lot of people were coming to Viva Frei because of the law videos, and instead of starting a new channel, it just seemed like the natural progression. And then if I want to just make Viva random stuff, which is what I do on the other channel, just it made sense. Judith Scott says, I cannot get myself to watch your chicken feet soup vlog. It wasn't that bad. It just wasn't that. I thought I was going to get to eat the chicken feet, and I thought that's what you ate in it. But apparently, no, you just discard them, and then you get this extremely gelatinous soup out of it, which is amazing. Let's see here. We got, is there something you and Dave Smith part of the problem? Can you get on the same page about for a chat? It would be super interesting. Who is Dave Smith? I'm going to have to look him up because I don't know who he is, but I'm always game for suggestions. Let's see here. We got Taylor K. says, I believe that the mayor of Washington, D.C., that there could be up to 90 days in jail and $5,000 fine for being outside for a non-essential reason. Thoughts? It's ironic considering in certain cities they're emptying the jails because of the virus. I mean, what are they going to put people in jail now or wait for it afterwards? There's a lot of constitutional issues that come as a result of some of the prohibitions that are going into effect. And incidentally, I think Nate Brody did a video on some of the constitutional questions of the quarantine and restrictions of interstate travel. I know Robert Barnes. For anybody who has been following my channel, Robert has been amazing and comes on often to discuss issues that it seems that he understands better than other people. He started a channel. Maybe I'll try to get the link if I can. If I can, I'm going to post the link. But he started a channel dealing with this in particular. The coronavirus, everything that's going on in the world from a legal aspect and from the logical aspect. And it's probably worth looking into Robert Barnes to see. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. But no, it's our prime minister has enacted or enforced the Quarantine Act. And it provides for massive penalties. It provides for sweeping powers and restrictions. Look, at the bottom line is I think at some point until it's under control, until people understand it might be necessary. The question is going to be, how long can this go on for out of necessity, and how long can this go on for period? Let's see what we got here. Hello from Cozumel, Mexico. The whole island is locked down. It's once the wave starts, that's the way it goes. When all the governments start doing it, that's the way it goes. From what I understand, supply chains are not being negatively affected because essential services are not being shut down. People were commenting on it in the live stream I did with Matt Pretty that some shops are out of supplies. More likely because of the panic shopping as opposed to supply issues. And I'm down the street from the pet supply store, and I ask him and I ask other people. They say the supplies are not the problem. The problem is that people come in and buy up a ton of it, and so it goes from one day or from 1 week to the next, but it gets replenished the next week. Let's see what we got here. We got Michel Jolin says, "I'll watch your chicken feet video when I am really hungry." It's funny. It's cool. The chicken feet they really are the nastiest thing on earth to look at. But they make for good soup. They have nutrition to them. And the dogs actually like them. I did give the dogs not too much because the dogs are on an all beef diet and their poop is very hard and dry. And if I give them too much other stuff, they might get diarrhea. All right, what do we got here? Mother Issue says, in New Hampshire, our governor said no police state. The police will educate and encourage smart behavior. That's the other bottom line is the vast majority of people out there will abide by these even without government enforcement. They'll abide by the policies even without strict government enforcement. Because they want to and because they're concerned, and they're concerned for themselves and they're concerned for their parents. And then, it becomes the issue of the same argument with the vaccines is that if enough people abide by the vaccines voluntarily, it doesn't matter that a lot of people don't, or some people don't, because it'll sort of be the mass protection, and the rogue individuals will not ruin it for everybody. But it's no, that's the reality. Is most people will abide by the restrictions voluntarily to the extent that it's manageable. I feel bad for people who live in New York in particular, where people maybe are not following the guidelines as much as they should, because they literally live on top of each other, and you can't be expected to stay in a 2.5 without getting fresh air. And then to get the fresh air, you have to go down a massive apartment building in an elevator where you can't necessarily respect social distancing. And then when you get on the streets, it's crowded. It's not like, in certain cities, it's obviously just much easier than others. We got Jacob Walls says, Viva. That is indeed who I am. Nice to see you here. Jacob Walls says, hold on, I missed another question. Where was the New Hampshire should be the freest state in the union. New Hampshire is live free or die, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Wash your hands says, India is going to hell fast right now. Masses are trying to flee the cities there. Thousands of people are going nuts. That's the other thing is when the massive exodus from the big cities occurs, then you have an issue with do they quarantine the city and make sure that people can't leave the big city? We're not having the same exodus from Montreal. It's just not the same type of city, but these are the questions that people are they're asking. Jaseo says, why did you not eat the chicken feet? Okay, the reality is they had been out overnight after having been cooked for the soup, but I don't think we ever had the intention of eating them in the first place. I did, but I don't think my wife ever did, knowing the recipe. And by the time I thought about eating them, they had been out overnight, and now is not the time when I want to get food poisoning. Did we get cow inners? Not yet, but that is on the list. I did that once, and they just actually tasted too much like what you would imagine the cleaned butt of a cow would taste like. It was not pleasant. Mr. Nibba is the first super chat of the day. And by the way, I'm going to take as many questions as I can, super chat or non-super chat, but I always get to the super chat out of respect for the super chat, because thank you very much for supporting the channel. My Nibba says, my grandmother in Italy, who's been suffering from cancer for 10 years, passed from it, but they put COVID on the cause of death. I'm not going to get political about this. There is a discussion as to what they are attributing to causes of death. I genuinely think the saddest thing in this, and it's something we talked about with Robert Barnes, is that you have people who are in palliative care who are now, who are going to live and end their life the way it was going. It happens when you're in palliative care. Who are now like they don't have companionship. They're not able to even have a certain quality of life for their final days, final months, because of what's going on, and it's sad. And then we have my wife's grandmother, who's in a home, nobody can go visit, is no longer connected just because of the way things have happened, and can't get anybody to connect her to the outside world. So now she can't even use Facebook to connect with us, and it's sad. We got DSLR Dave. For anybody who doesn't know who DSLR Dave is, look at that beautiful avatar, beautiful photograph. He's a photographer. He does the thumbnails for my channel and for other YouTube channels. He does works of art. Viva Frei. Didn't know that you were live. Just sent you your next thumbnail. Take care. Sorry. Thank you very much, Dave. I think the notifications are not necessarily going out, but it doesn't matter. I also picked 7 o'clock on what day is it today? I know it's a weekday because the kids had school. I don't know if it's Monday, Tuesday, or it's Monday. It has to be Monday. It's Tuesday. What day of the week is it? Yankee. By the way, Dave, thank you very much. And everyone stay tuned for that video. It's going to be a beautiful dissection of Donald Trump's deposition. What do we got here? Yankee Altman says, what do you think about the STM buses still full and active? And why is Montreal not on lockdown yet while the number of cases are going up? The public transport's interesting because I actually just posted a video to a licensing agency, which was I just recorded the train passing by the train tracks because we live right by the train tracks. And I passed it, I shot the video in slow motion and I sped up and slowed down the video just to show that the train was empty. They need it for people who are going with essential services and working that still need public transport. But again, it's easy to make policy in hindsight or as a Monday morning quarterback. I might be more inclined to shut down the public transit and then maybe give vouchers for taxis, because it's probably the better or safer way of traveling given what everyone thinks of the virus. But the number of cases going up, they're going to go up. It's just a matter of fact, because the number of people have been infected and more people are getting tested. I don't think they're going up in a manner that is shocking or even whatever. I shouldn't venture into it I shouldn't venture into it. But yeah, I would think maybe as a policy decision and as a economic decision, to avoid the spread, don't go with public transit, and maybe give vouchers to taxi cabs to give transport to people who need it. I mean, that's a win-win situation. Maggie Smith says, I'm encouraging my neighbor to do a drive-in concert. It's interesting. There's so many options of things that people can do to keep busy. The issue is going to be, what can people do to make money? Because and not to make money like give me money, like just to survive. It's people need to survive while they're on lockdown. They need to make money to pay the bills, even if there's a moratorium on evictions, and even if whatever. It's an old expression my father told me. I should have asked him when we did the live stream, but it says expenses never go down, but revenues do. So, even if you stop making money, your expenses don't stop. But if your revenue does, your revenue can stop much more quickly than your expenses. I think something along those lines. It's an old proverb, and it's much more eloquent when said properly. But that's it. People's expenses are going to continue to accrue while so many people are going to be out of a job temporarily. And the longer this goes, the more, the risk of businesses not coming back. I still remain optimistic on that, because I think people are going to come back from this with a frenzy, to the extent that it can be controlled and contained and resolved, sooner than later. Let's see what we got here. John Willis says, doesn't a recovered or immune system become a natural air filter or viral blocker, and eventually they will outnumber the vulnerable? There's theories on that. I mean, I've been reading on this, so there's theories on that. There's theories that there's reinfection of those who have recovered. But I don't want anyone accusing me of giving an opinion when I'm not an expert, and period. So let's see what we got here. Spicy. A funny note to my judicial adventure with Canadian border, I got told by someone at customs that had I not gone to try and regularize my situation, they would have never noticed. 'Tis better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission sometimes. Let's see. Jaseo says, the feet are high concentrated nutrients, so you don't have to eat as much as other body parts. I am only nervous about getting sick. If I can't get sick from eating a food, I'm going to give it a try. Sarah Nichols says, no, it's Wednesday in New Zealand. What time is it Wednesday in New Zealand? Oh, it's in the morning. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for the super chat, Sarah Nichols. What is it like in New Zealand? What's the situation like there? It's still... When you're locked down in paradise, you're still locked down in paradise, but you still have all the stresses and the uncertainty of the world ahead of you. Let's see what we got here. Maggie Smith. Okay, hold on. John Wills. IDGAF, when someone person used it for... I don't know. Okay, IDGAF, what some person used it for doesn't mean it now means that... Well, I'm very good at making acronyms make sense. I know that I don't give blank blank. Supperman says... I did receive my notification. Great to see you, Superman. Nice to see you. I don't know where Antonio is. Let me see if we may not have the Antonio stream tonight, but we'll do it sooner than later. But he is undoubtedly. I'll sell him. I'll sell him now, regardless of whether this happens. He's making meals, delivering them. They're sold out faster than they can sell the food, and they're selling it at cost, which is like, from what I understand, at cost, if not at a loss, because it's just good sushi. They're delivering. He's been doing meals for first responders and people working the front lines. I wanted to give him a chance to show everything that he's been doing. If we can't do it tonight, we'll do it later. But for anybody who's in Montreal, Park Resto is open. They are delivering, and there's pickup, and there is good safety measures for the pickup in terms of not going into the restaurant. And there's a delivery or pickup section, and it's very good. But if it doesn't work tonight, we'll reschedule, I'm still keeping people entertained, period. Smiley face. Emoji. So awesome. Now we got my Niba says, my family doesn't believe the cause of death was actually COVID, mislabeled as it, but was actually the cancer she suffered from for 10 years at 79. Well, I mean, that's the other thing is that apparently it's triggering fatalities from whatever other underlying conditions. And it's, who knows how much longer your grandmother would have lived, but for this, if it were that. And it's there's no question it's taking a toll on a specific demographic in terms of age with certain underlying conditions. It's just yeah, and it's merciless. Let's see what we got here. Jacob Wallace says lots of ancient carvings have the swastika in both directions with many different variations. I used to light incense back in my hippie-ish days and noticed that on the incense they always had the symbol. I don't even know if it was the reverse from what the the bad symbol is, but yeah, it's an old I missed the discussion there, but it is an old symbol. Okay, let's see here. If he no-shows, do I get my super chat back? I don't know if there's a way of reversing super chats, but no, but I'll give you a what's it called, a freebie for I'll read your comments as often as I can see them, but thank you anyhow. Yeah, I hope he comes. Park on Victoria. This is it, Tarek. Oh, Tarek Khan. I know Tarek. Yes, Park on Victoria it's in the Royal Vic building, not the Royal Vic, sorry, the Vic Park building, and they just opened up and they're doing sushi. It's great. Tarek, good to see you, by the way. The internet is an amazing place. So let's see what we got. Take some questions here. I'm leaving. Too many girls here, and I'm afraid of girl cooties. Don't forget to ask Antonio about what I should cook from moose, deer, roe deer, and reindeer meat. What is roe deer? I will ask him, Gunnar. In fact, I'll ask him regardless, because I'll text him and then I'll post the answer to the community tab. That's what I'll do. All right, thanks for coming anyhow. But if he doesn't come sooner than later, we might have to end this anyhow, because I promised that I would do something with the kids. I said we were going to do this for 1 hour, but it's a good opportunity. We got everyone here. So let's see what else. Oh man, what have we been doing? One kid learned how to ride a bike up and down a 300-meter section of road, which is a dead end. And I swear one day I think I did 15,000 steps chasing her up and down the street because we're not going anywhere too far. But it's a weird thing. Like, you walk outside, everybody who you happen to cross moves out of their way, waits for people to cross the street. I had the greatest visual. Like, now human interactions is exactly like the Frogger in the game Frogger. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, we're showing our age. But it's like you're literally waiting for people to cross you at a safe distance so that you don't come within 2 meters of other people. And it's weird, you're outside with the kids, and then if people don't know that you are a family that have been quarantined indoors together, they think you're not keeping your social distance. It's a strange world we're living in right now. Robert Barnes is an immensely intelligent person, and whether or not you agree with him, the world needs people like him. Jao Seo says, yeah, you people in New York are sneaking out to surrounding states and are spreading this virus. It is not appreciated. There was a funny, only in today's day and age could it be funny story coming out of Quebec. A couple, apparently from the article, sold all of their stuff. They sold their house. They sold their assets from what the article said, bought a plane ticket north, drove what did they do? They drove 5,000 kilometers north, flew a plane into an Inuit reserve, 5,000 kilometers north, population like 19. And the local population were none too happy with these people coming from the big city into a place. The village was so small, it didn't have a doctor. They obviously didn't have the exposure to the coronavirus. No doctor, housing crisis in the area because they don't even have enough. They had to halt construction because of what's going on. And the local population was not too happy with that. And that's going to be the reality until we have more knowledge and people feel more comfortable with the whole situation. Is, the countryside is not going to be too happy when the big city folks start leaving, or if they decide to leave, to go to the countryside. So that's something that people have to consider is, whatever. But it's a funny story. I have to see how it ended up. Apparently they're going to be forced to do the quarantine in the village that they moved or that they went to, but it's not clear whether or not they're going to be staying. So let's see what we got here. What else? What else? What has everybody been doing to keep themselves busy and sane? Like, people are exercising, people are getting as much sunlight as they can. These are very important things to be doing. Did they bring COVID to the village or not? Apparently not. Not that would quell any concerns from people who live 5,000 kilometers north, seeing city folk show up uninvited. Playing online chess is, I see, very good. This is MJ Gale 52. First of all, what website do you play on? Because I've been wanting to get back into it, but the reality is there's not enough time in the day for me to pick up another hobby, even if I wanted to. Trying to survive. I'm trying to do the vlogs to continue to survive through that, doing the law stuff. But what website do you play on? I remember there was a great one called, I think it was called the Fuchs free online chess server or something along those lines. But that's it. We got Rose Enzig is playing online Scrabble. That's good, but that's not as good of a brain game as chess. And you always know that somebody unless you're playing against bots, in which case there's no point because the best bot has access to the full dictionary. The person on the other side is cheating. You know that for sure, sugar. So we got Yankee Altman says the easiest way to keep people home is for the government to pay everyone's rent and essential food and household items. Otherwise, people will never survive a couple of weeks or months. But where does the government get that money to pay for? Who pays that money back? I think it's going to be a question not necessarily of paying for rent and all these things, but just having a moratorium and then giving massive credits for the rent revenue that the landlords are not generating. But it's the government requires money, and then you realize why it's nice to run a balanced budget at times of unforeseen crisis. Oh, we got Nate Brody is in the house and Uncivil Law is in the house, and they seem to be having a discussion here. I was promised cooking. I did promise cooking, and I just have to take for granted something came up because it's undoubted. But we got Uncivil Law, who has a law YouTube channel. We've done live streams together more often, quite a few. Awesome guy. We got Nate Brody in the house. Nate, how are you doing? How are you doing in New York? Let everybody know. Then we got Uncivil Law says Nate. And then Nate Brody says, me too. Okay. We got Obelix. Anybody who doesn't know what Obelix is, is it a French or Quebec cartoon? It's a famous cartoon. Shooting my bow, 150, 200 arrows every day. I got to tell you, the thing that I miss the most of non-corona life, bowling. I miss freaking bowling. And I want to call up the lane and see if they would let me in because nobody's been in there. If I had the bowling lane to myself, damn, that would be like that episode of what was it? The episode of The Twilight Zone where this guy, all that he loved to do was read, and then he went into a vault of a bank, and when he came out, there had been a nuclear war, and he's like, he was the only person left on Earth, and he had all the books in the world and all the food in the world, and as he sits down to read his first book, he drops his glasses and they break, and now I just ruined the punchline of the episode for you. Maggie Smith says, walk every day with my neighbor, a really nice little park near where I live. Neighbor is playing a lot of video games and did online stream of his music. And if I may plug my sister-in-law has been doing online music as well. In fact, I'm not sure if I should. I don't know if I have a link that I can share. I heard someone at the door. We got DSLR saying hi to Dave. Oh, man. Okay, so Nate Brody says, Uncivil Law. Today, Trump used the website we looked at this morning. Okay, so I'm not up to speed with that conversation. Let me just text my wife and see if they need me. The doorbell just rang, period. Am I needed? ? Okay, so it looks like Antonio's not coming. Not coming. It looks like something must have come up and Antonio can't make it for this one. We will reschedule it, but let's make the best of the next few minutes that we have anyhow. Stan Ulrich says, every time I hear bowling, I think of Kingpin. He couldn't pay for the rent either. Every time I think of bowling, I think of The Big Lebowski. But every time I think of Kingpin, I think of one scene in particular where Woody Harrelson had to figure out how to pay his rent. I think the door seems to be locked. Give me 1 second, people. Sorry. 1 second. Oh, Spencer! I just knocked over my entire freaking computer. Darn it! Oh, my wife is going to kill me. Sorry, guys. Whoops. Give me 1 second. Damn. Coming! I'm coming! Quiet. dog out. Don't let the dog out. Okay, people. This may be coming to an end sooner than later. We'll see if I hear the screaming that I'm anticipating. All right. Well, I might post a new highlight for tomorrow. Glad I was. You know what the funny thing is? Putting on pants was actually an afterthought for this stream. Okay. That was amazing. It rotated to track him. I think I just pulled out a hard drive from my wife's computer and she was doing research, and I hope I didn't ruin something. Okay. So what else? What were we talking about? Uncivil Law says, if you hover on the right side of this chat, you will see 3 vertical dots. You can use these dots to give me mod status, you Canuck. So let me see how that works. Hide. No, I only see put user in timeout and block user. Let me see. Whatever. I'll figure it out afterwards. Although I've been told I need mods because I am. Kind says that. Okay, Joshua Cornelius is in the house. I've been put on the road during this whole ordeal, loving the light traffic, picking up a load of paper in Portland, Oregon at the moment, not toilet paper. Yeah, to be on the road. I haven't driven on the highway yet. I mean, and we're wondering whether or not we can go to not to visit my mother-in-law in the townships. We're just wondering if we can get down to the townships and maybe do a day of fishing. You know, one of the main reasons we talked about also is why they want to keep people off the roads and doing non-essential travel is so that you don't have accidents and end up having to go to the hospital, which is, you know, a problem. Put me in a timeout, I dare you. What does a timeout even mean? Can you really trust an attorney, though? Depends. It depends. There's so many audio clips I could make from this stream. Well, knocking over the computer is definitely going to be a good one. And my goodness, I'm glad it didn't fall on the ground. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Nate says he's got flushable wipes, no toilet paper. We wipe and clean. The bidet sales have to be going through the roof. And for those who have been following me for a while and know about my rubber ligation band procedure, I was told to get a bidet a while back, but I just didn't do it. And it might be time. I hear screaming upstairs. Can you trust your adult diaper? Depends. I get that one. Thoughts on Spanish president possibly facing criminal charges for administrative trespass for not preventing the gathering of mass events. That's interesting. I would have to read up on that before even having an opinion. Okay, so hold on. I think I may be needed upstairs. Who was at your door? An annoying third child who's ringing the doorbell and driving the dogs nuts for no reason because the door wasn't unlocked. I thought maybe something had fallen in front of the door and blocked it. I'm not pulling up one of the comments down there, but that's funny. Viva, tell us about the rubber bands again. I just ate and everything. Rubber band ligation, for those of you who don't know, it's incidentally, ligation is the way they remove the balls or the testicles of sheep in the field, not the sheep, whatever the male sheep are called. It's how they remove the balls of animals on a farm because you can't, anesthetize them to castrate them. You get them and you wrap a band around their balls. It cuts off the circulation and eventually the balls fall off in the field. And I've been told this from farmers who I know. Rubber band ligation for hemorrhoids is the exact same thing. And it's painful. Oh, it's painful. But more important than that, I'll talk about my shingles because that might be a subject matter for a standalone live stream because the progression of those shingles and the way it resolved and where I'm at 5 weeks later is actually very interesting. Hey, Viva, Papa John's delivery driver here on the Georgia coast, Georgia the state. Interesting times here on the coast with the beaches closed. Name pronounced the Blackister. The Blackister. I catch every vlog. Oh, the Blackister. Well, thank you very much. And it's phenomenal that people are out there doing what needs to be done to make sure that, people are getting what they need during this time where, people are not necessarily getting what they want, but it's amazing. So keep safe out there. But it's Yeah, the beaches are closed. I went for a drive to try to get one of the kids to fall asleep, and it didn't work. But I drove past the lookout, and the lookout is closed. I mean, the lookout where you park your car and look out over the city, closed. And the irony, I think it was someone I was following on Twitter who also is avid follower on the channel, was saying, like, people are going out, and what policymakers are doing is closing paths, walking paths, because people are getting too close to each other, and all that it does is concentrate the traffic onto other areas that are not closed. So this is where you can see, like, certain policy decisions are knee-jerk and not thought out. But closing public beaches, I can understand. I imagine people can still walk on isolated beaches or secluded sections. How are the golf balls coming? I haven't gone for my gosh, that feels like an era ago. I haven't gone for 5, or I tried and then gave up. It was just too flipping hard. But I might get back to that. I've been trying to be more productive with the spare time. My brother has shingles. He has nerve damage now. He'll be 90 next month. His next is ballroom dancing. So I'm not going to show it, but I have, well, I'll show it. I'm going to take this comment down. Hold on. Where I got it, like right here, all of the skin is absolutely numb as in frozen. And there's periodic stabbing pains, but at the very least, no constant daily pains. But the skin is just totally numb. It's crazy. When I had a little more TMI, testicular torsion, and they went in through my abdomen to pull up that was for the cyst. Sorry, I had a testicular cyst, and I had a torsion as well, but 2 different things. So when they remove the cyst, because they don't want to go in through the scrotum in case it's a cancerous cyst, they go in through the abdomen, pull it up, remove it, push it back down. All of the nerves were cut, and I had no sensation anywhere under the incision going down on my pelvis. That's exactly what it feels like. It's just totally numb. It's totally cool in a scientific way. Nate Brody says, everyone stay safe and we will get through this. Nate, we will. Some people are not going to, people are going to succumb to the virus, but by and large, we're going to come out of this, and we're going to look back on this as a nightmare from which we all one day awoke. But Nate, you stay safe, stay sane, and Godspeed, man. Be well. But we'll talk anyhow. I'll call you afterwards. What do we got here? In Ireland, we are not allowed to go further than 2 kilometers away from our home, except for emergency reasons. Luckily, Dublin's beach is within 2 kilometers. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot. Depending on where you live, there's a lot. You just need to get some fresh air, and you need to stay sane. It's not an expectation. There's a reason why animals in zoos eventually end up, walking in circles and banging their heads on walls, and literally, like, not metaphorically, because animals with a certain level of intelligence need a certain element of freedom. And stimulation. Uncivil Law says, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling, streetlights, people. Oh. I think Uncivil, thank you. I think Uncivil has a music fetish. One day there will be a nursery rhyme about pop. I'm sure there's already one. It's good you are married to a doctor. She is. It's good. She's a brain doctor. Well, not a brain doctor. She's a neuroscientist, no less. So she understands me. Oh, good Lord. How do you twist a nut? On second thought, never mind. It's a funny story. I don't know if I've ever told you this story. Okay, you know what? This is turning to anecdotes. So I had I've had a number of issues, but I have 3 kids and everything was functional, is functional. Everything has been functional enough to do what I, need to do. I had the testicular torsion when I was 13, and growing up, my dad always said, I would always complain about these periodic pains that felt like someone was kicking me in the groin, like twisting my stomach. And my dad always said they were gross. He can come down. He can come down. He can come down. Okay, just give him 5 minutes. Come 5 minutes and I'll go up. My dad always said they were growing pains. And then they would go away because they would, I guess they would untwist, luckily. One time, I'm talking about my testicular torsion, kids. But for that, I would have never had you. So let me take that comment off. So one time, I go for a long walk with friends. We go to a McDonald's, and I'm not exaggerating. I ordered 2 Big Macs, a chicken fillet, and a fish fillet, a strawberry milkshake, and French fries. I eat all of this, and then right afterwards, like, oh, I got that pain again, and it's coming up, and it's like twisting my whole being into this like contorted. And I told my mother, I said, I think I need to go to the hospital. And then they all thought it's because I ate too much. Go to the hospital. Dr. Wynn was the doctor. Nguyen, depending on how you pronounce it, but Dr. Wynn. And he looks and he says, you have a testicular torsion. And my mother's like, well, what do we do? And he says, well, if we don't operate, lose testicle. So he looks at me, okay, but don't throw balls because I have to do this. Then he says to me, have you eaten anything in the last, what did he say? Like, have you eaten anything in the last 4 hours? And I said, yeah, just this, and this. And he thought I was joking and I wasn't. Surgery, immediate surgery within 45 minutes. All is good. I came up, I was totally fine. Then the second time when I had the cyst and the surgery, same area, same thing, the recovery was the stuff of nightmares. They'd given me morphine and I was vomiting after the surgery. Every step was so painful. I would throw up out of pain. People in my family thought it was funny when I was like, I had to rush to the bathroom to vomit. But yeah, the cyst surgery was much more painful than the torsion. Now you know the story. Ginger Snap says, super sticker. Ginger Snap, thank you very much. Let's see what we got here. We got Elaine Mathieu. Okay, so I'm late to this question about the no. Well, now you know the story. And the testicular torsion is amazing because literally what ends up happening, people will tell me if this gets too annoying in the background. A man's bits, the testicles have 3 cords holding them up typically. And apparently one of mine had 2, the other one had 3, which made one hang lower than the other. And they would crisscross periodically, and the one that crisscrossed around the other would cut the circulation off, and that was what the testicular torsion was. Exquisitely painful. Not the most painful thing in the world. I think the rubber band ligation actually took the cake on that one. Anyone remember the energy drink balls? I do. I think I remember that. I'm pretty sure I remember that. It's Win, generally spelled Nguyen. I pronounced it Nguyen until I was corrected by the doctor. Now you know your balls. Now you know my balls. Okay. Back to PG-13 talk. But it was crazy. The testicular torsion was amazing. And another interesting experience as to how swollen things can actually get on your body. Yeah. Thanks. Okay. Okay, so don't throw sheep balls in the house. I use them for golfing. We ate sheep balls. We did bison balls, amourettes. Okay, and it might actually be. What time is it? Thank you very much. Just don't stick that in my ear. Nobody can go to the hospital. Uncivil Law says, "Do your chain hang low? Do it." Okay. We got a TMI, which means too much information. I know. I get acronyms. Stack sheep balls. I'm still working on the egg. Okay, so. People, sorry, I'm sure speaking of sheep balls, look at what the kid just brought to me. That's not a ball. That is.
No, Daddy.
Yeah.
Hey, no,
that's for the Hot Wheels. We have a. Yeah, I'll do it afterwards. Okay, people. So I'm sorry. Obviously, something came up with Antonio. We'll reschedule. We'll do it. It's going to be short notice again. Does anyone else have any more questions for me before we? This wasn't supposed to be an AMA, nor shall it turn into one, but. The testicular torsion was an interesting story. Sit up here. You can say hi. Come say hi to the world. Oh, she's been. How are you liking the quarantine lockdown? Okay. It was the testicular torsion was painful. The cyst was not painful, but the aftermath was painful. What else did I have? What other surgeries did I have? You don't know.
Your arm.
My arm, the wrist. Oh, I had a ganglion cyst that they removed here. Painless. I never grew wisdom teeth. I don't know if that's a sign of hyper evolution or not being wise at all. Time for bed? Oh, we got a third one. Come on, third one in the house. All right, this is these are the people who. How have you been enjoying the quarantine lockdown?
Good.
Oh wait, it's so confusing. I'm backwards.
Hairdressers, when this is over, are going to be exploding with business. And not just that, I think if this is not over soon enough, there's going to be an underground market for clandestine visit your house hairdos. I might just let my fro grow back. It's been a while. This is the long. No, dude. I might let my fro grow back. This is the Viva. Yeah, this turned into a family live stream.
We haven't done this in such a long time.
We haven't done this in a long time, but now homeschool is the best school. We're having a good time. They're not watching quite as much Planet Earth as I thought I was going to have tricked them into watching. We watched Austin Powers this week. Liar, Liar. Which one? Oh, you don't mess with the Zohan. If anyone's ever seen that,
You don't mess with the Zohan.
Mr. Cotter, I got Cotter from Welcome Back Cotter a lot. What do we say? Viva DSLR says, Viva, please, I want to see your fro back. I might go with it. But the fro, like a gray fro, is not going to look cool. Viva Frei. Oh, Kronos. I've seen you. I haven't seen you in a while. Hangnails can be worse than losing your wisdom teeth. So I've never had. Yeah, I've had hangnails like in your fingernail when the corner cracks. I'm trying to think. Yes. Okay. We got. Yes.
It's one of the times for telling the pumpkin.
Hendrik, you reminded me of my next project. People, if I forget, because I'm going to forget, my next project involves a card. That is the only reminder I need, and I'm going to need to do it and then surprise you. Did I have a fro? If you Google, hold on. Sorry, move it. Just get out of the way for a second. Just give me 1 second, people. Before we end this stream, I'm going to send out
your fro.
2 links. YouTube, 2 links, videos that you have to watch and share because they're beautiful, and they never got Viva Frei fish story. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find this.
Yeah.
I caught the fish that got away. That was not it.
Oh.
My fish story. Here we go. This is the best true story you're ever going to see. Put it on pause. Sorry, guys.
You just deleted it.
No, I just did this. Boom shakalaka. Let's do this. Okay, that's one. And then Viva Frei. My life. In pictures. Where was it? My life in pictures. My life. No. It's Hackshat. It was a picture. My life. That's what it was called. This is me, and this video right here.
Lila, not me.
I don't know who that was. It was one of the kids.
It was me.
Okay, here we go. And then this.
me.
Okay, boom. That is it. Now back to the big screen here, so I can see what's going on. Okay, Din. Yeah, we better go. They got to go to bed because they got class tomorrow. Okay, people. Sorry, I will get Antonio Park in here one day sooner than later. I hear the dogs fighting upstairs. Everybody, I hope everybody's doing as well as they can possibly be doing under the circumstances. Stay strong, exercise, vitamin D, sunlight. Try not to descend into the spiraling thoughts of doom and gloom because I have them quite often.
Let's watch a movie.
We're not watching a movie. We got 145 people now, and it's good. We're going to keep it to under 55 minutes. Okay, guys, go. Be well. Stay safe. And I will see you in the next video, and I will see you during the next live stream. I'm going to do another one this week.
Wash your hands.
I'm going to try to get Antonio.
Hey, Daddy, wash your hands.
Wash your hands. 20 seconds. Happy birthday to you.
Wait, someone do that.
It says, wash your hands, Yankee Altman. Absolutely. And we got Vicious Shear, who says, got coronavirus, pouring sweat out as we speak. Take care. Be safe. It is, I don't know your situation. Rest and be well. Okay, that's it. Done. People, we'll get Antonio. We will get Antonio. I've got a number of other live streams lined up. I don't want to spoil the surprises. We're gonna get them out one by one. But I want to live stream with my aunt. Okay, good. Stay safe, people. I'm gonna go thumb to what is that? No, it's light to dark. Peace out. Be well.
Bye.